Hey, please like, subscribe. It's Daddy Steve, and please do subscribe. We need to get to at least 1,000 subscribers, otherwise YouTube just kind of, we have to boo them. They boo them because they just shuffle us to the side, just trying to deny our greatness. So please do subscribe. Do it now before we forget. Anyway, so the video is about Tides of War, aka KVK. Just wanted to give a quick bit of background, very quick. 5 years in the game. I started off for most of that as free to play, so I do have a free to play head on. I'm now pay to play. There's people who spend a lot more money than me. These days I spend about 150 quid. Most of the time it's half of that. This time around I'm going to do 150 quid just because I'm making videos and I just want to see where it goes. All right, so that is the background. So with that free to play head on, I'm thinking about how you can structure your game in order to win. So I'm going to go from, ironically, I'm going to go from the very low spenders to free to play. And there's a logic behind it, so just bear with me, right? So if you're a low spender, I think the minimum you need to do is this crystal mine. It's in UK money because I'm in London. £4.99, £4.99. It's probably $4.99 or whatever it is elsewhere. You get 50% more crystals from the mine. Feeds onto every other strategy I've talked about. Including the bastions. I didn't realise there's so many tips to give, which I tried to condense into shorts, but the crystals determine how much tech you can advance, which leads on to what I'm going to say next. So getting an extra 50%. If you're completely free to play, you're obviously not going to get that 50% bonus gems, crystals, sorry. And if you don't have that 50% bonus crystals, you're going to have at least 50% worse tech, no matter what boss super genius strategy I can try and give you, or that you come up with yourself in the lab, you know what I mean? So that's the facts. What follows on from that, and is very closely connected, if I go into the mine, in the rewards, ultimately I was more or less forced, and that's what I'm kind of saying for you guys, to purchase this advanced treasure bundle, which opens up the rewards that you can get. So obviously you get a lot more crystals at the start, which kind of leads to point number one about the tech and how you can advance, and when you're actually battling people, what chance you have. And it kind of goes from there. All right, so how else do you maximize your kind of potential in KVK, and what can you aim for? Well, I'm pay to play nowadays, just because I thought, well, given KVK and that being the most interesting part of the game, the other part of the game when you're in your home kingdom mostly is farming. Okay, you're building your farms up, you're building up your resources, building up your kind of little castle, whatever it is, your little forts, your little army, and then it's KVK. Right, so then I realised I couldn't compete in KVK, as I said, without spending money, and I had to make a decision whether I wanted to stay in the game or not. And I thought, yeah, 3 months, okay, I'm going to spend X amount of money, but I actually enjoy it. It's not too bad. And you kind of get drawn in wanting to be dominant or successful in your battles, don't you? Which encourages you to spend more, which is exactly what Lilith, makers of ROK, want you to do. But I fell into the trap, and I'm there now, so I guess I'm there until I want to give up. 5 years on, I don't know, not ready to give up quite yet. I just treat it as a hobby, and I'm aware of the money that I'm spending, and I only spend what I'm prepared to. This time around, as I say, it's £150 is my budget, but most KVKs I spend about 75. I'd probably go up to the, okay, so do the two bits that I said at the start, the $4.99 bundle and the I think it's $9.99 bundle. Then as I do the initial tech, I'll probably spend up to the $14.99 bundles and I knock it on the head there. This time I went up to the $19.99 bundles. It's like spending bundles, obviously, and then there's more that you can do the more tech that you progress, and it kind of entices you in. I can't remember, is it $4.99 or $10 or $9.99, just to spend that little bit more a few days later, and you think, okay, feels like a fresh spend. That's my rationale, and that's the genius of ROK. Okay, so all things considered, though, winding that back, if you are free to play, and this is the free to play kind of segment, believe it or not, given all that context about why I ultimately became pay to play, you would not be optimizing this. You'd be thinking about what you want to optimize in terms of buildings. Maybe you can't get this to level 25, even though it is going to generate free gems for you. So if I just go into, where is it? I. Even if you do go into level 25, say if you stayed at level 20, there's a massive difference in hourly crystal production between 20 and 25. So probably even as free to play, you got to look to maximize this crystal mine, because it's literally double the crystals, and ROK know exactly what they're doing. Now, when it comes to the Crystal Research Center, the difference between, say, level 20 and level 25 is 2%. Now, that's going to count, but really what we're talking about is later in KVK, when things are like 1,000,000 or whatever, 1,000,000 crystals or whatever it is. That's when those kind of percentages add up. But early in the game, not so much. Yeah, of course there's going to be a difference, but not so much. AKA, maybe you can get away with getting your Crystal Research Center to something around approximate to 20. I can't remember if it's like level 19 or level 21. There's videos out there which kind of break down the minimum spend. I'm a pay to play now, but I would say around about something between level 18 and 21. You'll probably see how far you can get away with it, and ultimately there's no harm in going in with like level 18 or something approximate, and when you get to the stage of technology where it says, oh no, by the way, you need to be at a higher level, then you take it on. You know what I mean? But all that to say this: if the money the crystals that you save upgrading your Crystal Research Center to the higher levels, you can put into your tech, right? You can put into your tech. So I don't have that worry. So my main focus is on building up the economy. So economy just basically means making it that my free crystals are maximized. Even with this plunder, again, if I defeat barbarians, my free crystals are maximized, and trying to do not marching orders, skillful operation, anything which reduces that crystal cost, because I know that late game I'm going to have a lot of crystals, and I'm prepared to pay to play, they may say. All right, so but if you're not there, you're going to either need those crystals from not upgrading the research center, even though it's going to cost you an extra 2%. You know what I mean? It's not the worst in the world. An extra 2%, but you maximizing your early game, accepting that you are not going to have focus on economy for the latter game of KVK. So what I'm talking about is when the first kind of gates open and you're getting into battle against two kingdoms, that is what you're optimizing for. So if your kingdom is mainly free to play and you're all optimized on that, along those lines, and you've got all your attack-based tech maximized, and you can compete on that, and maybe the other people are kind of low spender KVK, low spender pay to play, not KVK. You might actually have that early tech advantage by doing that. So if your kingdom is free to play, focused on attack tech, not the economy tech, early on and active, then you may well deal a significant enough psychological damage from just beating them into the ground and putting their hospital bill through the roof, and where they think they can't possibly compete with you guys. Far too many troops on the field. You know what I mean? As I said, and they're counting the net cost of battles, and it's just not in their favor. That's the only way. If early on you are focused on, say, economy like myself, but it just means that you cannot, I don't know, where am I? Here. You can't really ever get to this stage of Quench Blades. You're only at this first stage, Quench Blades 1 instead of Quench Blades 2, then I'll just be pulling away. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying maybe not focus on economy, focus on attack, focus on winning overwhelmingly with your activity, and your focus on this tech, not maximizing the Crystal Research Center for all the reasons said. That is got to be the way that you go about it. As for me, another thing is, and for those who do kind of want to push on, one of the things you don't have to maximize is swift marching, I believe. No, you do, but you don't have to go beyond level 7. That was it. Yeah, so I want to keep mine at level 7. I'll do whatever it asks for in order for me to get that to level 7, just so I can do the marching orders, just so I can do skillful operation, etc. That's the only reason why. And then I'll be powering through. One other thing to say is, okay, I'll keep it quick, but I'll probably put it into a different video. Is when you're doing PvP, player versus player battles. I was going to say it's more about kind of unit capacity, the size of the army as well. You know, I mean, I guess they can also touch on troop expansion boosts and things like that. But do I want to talk about this? Okay, I'll just wrap it up quick because it's about tankiness. And the concept to think about is, I'm just thinking about technology order. What you got a concept is, say if you are fighting somebody who's down to the last, say, 10,000 troops. You know what I mean? You're going to feel quietly confident you're going to beat them because you've probably got anything between, 200,000, 250,000, 300,000 troops. Say if they instead of 10,000 troops, you've got 100,000 troops. Well, again, if your army is 200,000 troops, then you feel quietly confident you're going to give them significant damage. What I'm saying is, unit capacity counts. Unit capacity counts, and I would probably say it. I don't want to overgeneralize, but if I had to rank it, it's probably more important than this. Attack stats. And I know it all feeds in and it's that mystery formula, but I'd say just don't overlook it. Don't overlook it for the reasons I've just said. The bigger armies tend to beat the smaller armies. And I've had situations where my tech is maximized, especially things like unit capacity. And it may just be my Juan and Scipio when I'm fighting 3 or 4 others with like lower tech, and I come on top. And in terms of the trades, I come out on top. So again, in terms of the things that you're selecting, just be mindful of that. And I'm aware that I've not done unit capacity, and instead I'm focusing on this. And the reason why is for the first reason I said before, because I'm focused on my economy, and I cannot do this without doing the things before. But if you're a low spender or if you're free to play, it's definitely things like call to arms, as I say, where you're focused on winning the battle in those first few maps, which count the most. I hope all that helps. Please like, subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll put most of my videos into shorts, obviously like chunk-sized bits, you know what I mean? So it's more digestible. But I thought this was very important, and I hope you get something from it. Hope all is good. Enjoy your game. That is Stephen. I'm out.